Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to Truth, Trust, and Trajectory with your girl Shakimbi. Today I'm excited to dive into today's topic because it's something that completely transformed my life. And I know it can do the same thing for you guys. Have you ever felt like you're constantly rushing to get to a job, rushing to find love, rushing to achieve your goals, only to look back and realize that maybe, just maybe, you were moving too fast? I've been there before. I rushed into jobs that weren't the right fit for me. I rushed into relationships that didn't last and opportunities that didn't align with who I truly am. And every single time I ended up learning the hard way that the good things truly do come to those who wait. So, in this episode, we're going to be talking about the power of patience, how to slow down, working on yourself, and trusting the process that can lead to success, love, and fulfillment in ways that you have never imagined. We'll also explore how the law of attraction plays a role in all of this and share some incredible stories of people who found their breakthrough simply by being patient. So, if you've ever felt like you're forcing things to happen or wondering why life isn't going your way, this episode is for you. Please make sure to stick around until the end because I'll be sharing some practical tips you can use today to slow down and attract the life that you deserve. Oh, and before we go ahead and get started, please, guys, do not forget to hit that like button. Also, make sure you guys subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on these conversations. So, let's go ahead and get started. So, before I jump into this episode, I'm going to go ahead and cleanse your space. Ooh, come here. You missed a spot. All right, and then I'm going to cleanse my space because any time that I talk about anything having to do with anything spiritual, I want to make sure that the energy is open and it's clear and clean so that everything that needs to be received is received. And you guys are also about to hear three loud sounds. This is just me clearing the energy. Okay, so I want to open up this episode and just briefly talk about the damage that rushing tends to do in our lives, right? And I think most importantly, this has become a very natural, reoccurring thing for so many people, right? Myself included, because we live in a society where everybody wants everything so fast. We literally live in a copy paste society. So it's really easy to maybe go online and see people that are having these perceivably really beautiful, loving, kind, and compassionate relationships. And we want that, right? So it's very easy to fall into something that's not necessarily in alignment with us because our mind has that picture perfect whatever it is, whether it's a job or a relationship, right? That's happened to me so many times, just from experience. And I will share with you guys with my previous job that I just had. It was pest control. One thing about my life that I've noticed is when it comes to jobs, I've always had jobs that I've been very lucky and fortunate to be able to have experienced, right? And even my family members would be like, "Oh, like you always have like a really odd job." And I don't mean like odd by like, "Oh, it's just like a job that no one would do," but then it kind of is. When I got hired at my previous with my previous employer, which was a pest control company, I aligned with that job during a time where I was really operating in a very desperate energy, right? So I had just lost my contract. I was at the time doing a courier business where I was picking up pet samples and driving from New York to Vermont every day. Now the route that I had was probably, it took me about 4.5. I worked no longer than 5 hours every single day, except for on Saturdays where my route was probably like 3.5 hours, probably shorter, just depending on if I picked up anything extra. But I was making really good money. So I started off making like $900 a week. And then as time went on and I started learning how to negotiate for myself, I was bringing home about like 12 to $1,400 a week, before taxes. So it was beautiful. So when I ended up losing that contract because I was very new to the business space, and I did not know that in order to keep scaling my business, I had to go out and actually actively find contracts because I was coming from being an employee to being my own employer and employee. So that turn of events for me kind of like set me on a really interesting journey as far as like being afraid and very anxious as to how I was going to be able to provide for myself. Um, Once I got into this energy, it was like everything else kind of like started falling apart, right? Because I was operating out of this desperation. So when this job came to me, I wasn't really excited about it. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I remember the supervisor, he was like, "Oh, what makes you want to work for this company?" And I'm like, I'm very blunt and honest. So I'm just like, the fact that I need to like pay my bills. I just want us to be very clear. This is not going to be like a kumbaya, like we are the world type of thing. Like I'm coming in, I'm gonna do my job, and then I'm gonna go home. And then I'm gonna get paid every Friday so that I can pay my bills. Like literally that's all I wanted. I wasn't really looking for like that fake family relationship because in all honesty, the people that I worked with, I had absolutely nothing in common with. Not only was I the only person of color in this establishment, like the conversations that were had, like they talk in front of you as if you're not there. It was just very like off-putting. It was very off-putting. So that was my thing, right? So the reason why I took that job, it was because I did not trust that the universe would provide and make a way, right? And so like when I say this to say like when we operate out of desperation, right? It is not always easy to discern the difference between opportunities that are for us and opportunities that don't align with us. I think that we kind of get some of everything. And depending on where you're at, right, we're kind of just like, well, I need this right now, right? And then for me, like I held on to that job for almost 2 years, knowing that I wasn't happy there, knowing that it wasn't in alignment with what I wanted to do, knowing that it wasn't feeding my life purpose and helping people. If anything, I felt like it was more destructive to people and then to the environment than it was anything else. So not only was I doing something that I felt deep down in my soul was not in alignment with me and what God set me here to do, that it was also harming other people, right? And pest control, it's a very dog eat dog type of uh, uh, environment, right? So their main purpose is to make money by any means necessary. So even if they have to lie to the customers, right? Even when, the customers might not necessarily feel like they've been 100% transparent, so it's a lot of stuff that goes into play. And I definitely felt like it's shifting to from just doing a job and interacting with customers to they started to prioritize and make it more salesy, which felt very fraudulent, right? And I'm told, like, in my birth chart, that I'll do really good in like a sales position, but the thing is, it doesn't feel right. It feels very dishonest, right? Because now when you start trying to leverage value with monetary gain, at some point there's going to be a level of deception, and I feel like there's a lot of people that can do it and it's no problem. I don't know, for me it just doesn't sit right. So hold on, guys. In particular taught me to slow down and really be patient, and wait. And I know, like, for me, one of the hardest things when I lost my job was the fear aspect. It was that anxiety and that worry and that despair, right? The same despair that I had when I came into this job, or that job, was the same despair that I felt when I lost the job, right? Because I wasn't able to keep and maintain it. And so now my livelihood is at stake. The fact that I was so concerned as to how am I going to be able to pay my bills, right? Am I going to be homeless? Like, all of this fear starts setting in. And then from the fear comes the anxiety. And like it just does something so horrible to the mind and the body and the soul all at once. So that was one of my takeaways from that, right? When you rush into something. So what I want to also talk about in the same token, how, yes, it is very natural when you're rushing to get something right to have that anxiety if you don't have it. And I'm using jobs, for example, right? But then also on the flip side of the thing, flip side of the coin, something really miraculous and amazing happened. My creativity, once I was able to get that anxiety under control, my creativity channels started opening. So things that I had been talking about doing for a very long time, those started going from the back of my mind all the way up to the front, right? And then I learned different things like grounding these ideas. So writing them down, not just keeping them stuck up top, not just talking about it and not doing anything with it, right? But actually grounding them. So getting a notebook and putting it on paper, like, hey, this is what I want to do. Even if it's not 100% organized as to how it's going to happen, now it's on paper, right? So that idea is grounded. The other thing that I learned was that once you ground what it is that you want, and like, okay, this is what I hope to get out of this, right? This is a bad situation. It's made me feel bad, but this is what can come out of it. So basically, shifting that mindset from one of fear, lack, and anxiety to creativity, prosperity, and abundance, right? And that can happen through the writing process. What I started to find is that the channels that were once closed to me started opening. So I would start getting downloads telling me, like, hey, go on Facebook and just start scrolling, right? And as I'm scrolling, now I'm seeing different people that I can connect with that give me bits and pieces of advice. They are giving me tools as to how I can start taking my dream and making it a reality, right? I'm being connected in the right circles. The right doors are starting to open for me. And I know, like, when you are in the thick of it, you are in the midst of that desperation or anxiety, it is so freaking easy to take the easier path, right? The path less traveled, or mostly traveled, right? The path less traveled would be what I'm doing now. I should be freaking out, right? but I'm not because I know that things are working out for me. I know that they are because I'm doing this right now. And that'll be another conversation. But the path that's most often traveled is the easiest route, right? So it's easy to, out of despair, say yes to something that you know you're not in alignment with. That was me taking a job that I knew I wasn't in alignment with. That was me, forcing a relationship that I knew I had no business being a part of or involved with, you know, things like that. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to actually show you guys something I feel like is really important and relevant to this particular conversation, right? But before I do go ahead and do that, the one thing that I want to attribute to this is when we tend to rush into things to soothe that anxiety, it actually works in the opposite. Um, it works opposite of the what we're looking for, right? The outcome that we're looking for, and even it might seem in the moment like it is a positive thing, right? But over time, decisions that are made out of desperation or rushing, they tend to have sometimes very bad outcomes. I don't I was trying to find a way to say that. But let me okay. I wanna pull this up so you guys can actually see what I'm actually talking about because I'm not very good sometimes at putting stringing concepts together, and I don't want to ramble. So this is what I pulled up that is validating what I'm saying as far as the psychological benefits of emotional delayed gratification. So some of the benefits are improved self-control, better decision-making skills, increased resilience, enhanced emotional regulation, greater ability to achieve long term goals, reduced stress, and a more positive outlook on life. Okay. And I know for anybody that's like, oh, well, why are you showing us this? Because when we make decisions out of desperation, and I'm going to say this again, when making decisions out of desperation, the outcome might seem positive in the beginning, but over time, you are going to notice negative effects, right? And going back to the story about me taking a job that I knew I was not in alignment with, and the reasoning for taking the job was merely because I was afraid that I was going to lose my car, I was going to lose my house, all of these tangible material things that I could have gotten back, right? I decided to go ahead and make a decision that was against my core values and principles and take a job that was more destructive than not. And as a byproduct, I ended up losing that job anyway because, again, if something is meant for you, it will be for you. Nothing can take that from you, right? There is nothing that's going to intervene with what God has for you. And I stand by that wholeheartedly. I'm firm on that, right? So when I think about what I've just been talking about and connecting everything together, the first phrase that comes to my mind is the law of attraction and how when you focus on what it is that you want and what is truly in alignment with you, it will come to you, right? When you're existing on the proper frequency. You can't you cannot obtain abundance when you are operating from despair and anxiety and fear, right? And I just want to reframe that for a second because you can absolutely attract abundance when you're operating in those modalities, right? The thing is, it's not going to be the type of abundance that you're looking for, right? A lot of people, when they're talking about, oh, I'm abundant, 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 and that's why even when I'm writing things down, I'm very careful as to what I'm writing, right? I don't just say, hey, I want to attract abundance, right? Because I can attract an abundance of heartbreak. I can attract an abundance of bad luck. There are so many different levels of abundance that you can attract, right? It's all what frequency are you operating in? If I am fearful that something is going to happen, but I'm telling myself I want something good to happen, maybe a few good things will happen, but ultimately it's I'm going to attract what I'm vibrating on, right? And a lot of people, I think I've noticed, people will say, I'm happy, I'm positive, I'm abundant, right? But if you don't truly, internally, fundamentally believe those things, that's a lie. And you're not necessarily going to be on the same frequency, if that makes sense. I don't know what better way to say it and how to put it so that it actually does make sense. Hopefully, you guys are resonating with this. If you are, please leave me in the comments. Let me know. Has there been a time where you have tried to manifest something um, that was more beneficial for you, but it didn't work because you weren't necessarily operating on the frequency required to attract what you were asking for? Okay, so I actually just found something else too that I wanted to share with you guys. Let me see if I can present this here. Okay, we're gonna watch this together.
Today we will talk about the marshmallow test, an interesting experiment conducted by psychologist Walter Mischel, a professor at Stanford University, which began in the 1960s. He wanted to understand how willpower and our ability to delay gratification work in our everyday life. The experiment was like this. The professor took 4-year-old children alone in a room with a marshmallow. Marshmallow is a kind of American sweet.
I want to give you a prize for having done it well. Do you like marshmallows? You do? Well, here's a marshmallow for you. You can eat it now, but if you wait until I come back, you can have 2 of them. So you can eat this now, but I'm going to go outside for a minute. When I come back, you can have 2 marshmallows if you wait.
Okay, I'll wait.
Do you think you could wait? Okay, let's see. I'll be back in a minute. See.
Notice the body language is wonderful. Just totally looks away the whole time. Too hot. Little distraction.
Hello. You waited. You waited for me. Okay, so now you know what's going to happen. You're going to get a double treat. I'm going to give you 2 of these lovely marshmallows. You want to eat them now or save them for later? Okay, well, go ahead. A little sticky.
I've had marshmallows before.
Well, some children waited, others just ate it.
Right, you got it right. So I'm going to give you a prize. I'm going to give you a treat. The treat is a delicious marshmallow. But if you wait, I have to go check my car. When I come back, if you wait, you can have 2 of them. You can have 1 now, or when I come back, you can have 2. Okay? Okay.
Licking on lips. Just temptation. They're just capital T. Sorry.
Hello, my dear. You ate the marshmallow. Was it delicious? Do you like marshmallows?
Now, this kid is wonderful.
You don't like marshmallows?
Look at that face.
Do you like chocolate?
Yeah,
Okay, well,
I love
the
chocolate.
treat you have won is a chocolate. But, if you wait till I come back, you could get 2. You could eat this now. I have to go check my car. And when I come back, if you wait, I'll give you 2 of them.
Okay.
So you can eat it now, but if you wait till I come back, you have
Second
2.
time.
Okay? You think you could wait? Okay. So I will be back in a few minutes. So you can eat it now.
4 times.
But if you wait, you're going to have 2 of them. Okay, I'll be back.
I'm not out of the door.
All right. Well, you guys get the point with that. I thought that was a really good example for pretty much what I'm talking about. With the whole point of the video, right, is we tend to rush into things impulsively, and depending on whatever energy that we are operating on. And when we simply wait for things to kind of unfold and manifest for us, that's when, me personally, I feel like that is when the best things happen, right? Going back to my earlier demonstration or explanation of, finding this job out of desperation, right? And so 2 years ago, around this time, I was just starting the previous job, right? And if I had to compare between then and now, the only difference is that I've taken away the lesson of being able to patiently wait for, something that's going to be more suiting of me, that's going to benefit me in the long run. And I'm okay with that. So I guess with this is all a mindset thing. So when you're impatient, you tend to make more impulsive and what might seem as rational choices or decisions in your life, from obviously fear, scarcity, or societal pressure. Adopting an abundance mindset can help you wait for the best, right? And just to be very clear, when I say an abundance mindset, I mean an abundance mindset in the way that you view abundance. So when you're thinking about abundance, what type of abundance is it that you're looking to receive, right? And then I'm going to add another part to this. The last part is patience and faith, right? Trusting and knowing that things are going to work out and they're going to align for your best benefit is one of the most hardest things to do. I feel like I struggled with that for a very long time. And real quickly, last night, I was praying after I did my journaling, right? And as I'm praying, I felt an intense energy surge through my body. It was something I don't think I've ever felt before. And I started tearing up, like, and I went into a full blown cry. Like, I started crying, and it wasn't a sad cry. I was grateful. Like, I literally felt so grateful. And I was asking myself, like, what took you so long? Like, I literally heard, what took you so long? Like, welcome home. What took you so long? And I took that as, being able to succumb to trust and knowing that things are going to work out for your best benefit is not an easy thing at all to do. But when you do, it is something so, 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 so powerful and liberating to experience. I don't think I've ever felt anything like that in my entire life. And another one of the things that I took from it was, being able to, for me, being okay with not having to control the outcome of things, right? One of my biggest life lessons that I feel like I've struggled with for a very long time is control. And I look at everything from a spiritual context first, and then I look at the physical secondary. For me, my in my chart, my astrology chart, so I have a my Pisces is in the north node, and I have Virgo in the south node. So anyone that's familiar with astrology, you know that Virgos are representative of they analyze. They are the I analyze. They analyze, and if you've ever met or known a Virgo, you know that they're very controlling and they're very analytical and they're very much about organization and structure and order and all of those things, right? And I always found that there has been a tug and pull and the polarity of my life, right? To where I'm trying to control the outcome of things. And then the Pisces side, which is the intuitive, flowing creativity, you know what I'm saying? I have a hard time just being okay with just letting things flow, right? And that's not just to say when you let things flow, you just kind of let life beat up on you and you let people take advantage and do what they want to do to you. That's not what that means. It means that you have to be okay to swim in the current where the current is pushing you, right? And do it in a way that you're not creating more resistance in your life. That Virgo placement for me represents the resistance that I kept attributing and kept meeting in my life at every single turn. Okay, so I don't want to go make this video too long. So I want to leave you guys with 5 practical tips for embracing patience. Okay, so your first tip is going to be mindfulness practice. So some of the things that you can do when it comes to mindfulness is meditation, journaling. In all of my videos, you're always going to hear me promote journaling or breath work. The breath work helps you to stay present and reduce anxiety about the future. I actually did a interview with a good friend of mine, Dara Saker. You guys can actually find her video on my channel, and she talks about breath work and the importance of it. I absolutely love it. The second tip is setting your intention. So you want to clarify what you truly want and focus on aligning your actions with these goals. Now, this sounds easy, but it's not. It is, but it's not, right? Because as I sat down and I started writing out my intentions and writing out what it was that I truly wanted, I started to find that there are things that I thought that I wanted that I don't actually want. And one of the good ways that you can actually get down to figuring out if what it is that you're telling yourself or you have been conditioning yourself to believe that you want is actually what you want is keep questioning and challenging your wants. Ask yourself why. If your why does not align with your core principles, your values, your morals, or your life purpose, 9 times out of 10, that's just a programming that has been pushed on you or projected onto you by people outside of you. The third one is trusting the process. Setbacks and delays are often redirections, not rejections. We often convolute the two. Please don't. And the last tip is the law of attraction. So, some things you guys should be able to do, can do, or maybe look into different tools that will teach you how to do visualization, practice affirmations, gratitude, to practice gratitude. Sorry, I just said that. Practice gratitude to attract what you desire, right? So, all of these also things that I've talked about in the beginning of this episode. So, when you're journaling, I don't often do affirmations. I think that they're great. I don't do them often. I do sometimes, but not all of the times, right? What I mostly do is I write in my journal what I'm grateful for. And I start my day with what I'm grateful for. So I'm constantly in a state of gratitude, even when it's something that I don't necessarily like or I don't understand why this is happening or the purpose, because the thing about us as humans is we're just overly nosy. So we feel like we have to know why something is all the time. But a lot of the times it doesn't matter why. It really doesn't, right? You just have to take the message away from it. What did you get from it? What did you learn? So what you guys want to do when it comes to visualization is you want to visualize yourself in the job, in the relationship, or the life that you want, and trust that it's on its way. And again, I know this sounds easier said than done, but I do believe that with practice, dedication, and motivation, you guys can definitely obtain the life and the goals that you truly want. And I want you guys to leave me something in the comments and let me know, are you practicing any of these already? If you are, how is it working for you? Do you have any tips or advice for anybody else that might be possibly listening that can help them on their way? All right, guys. So we've covered a lot today, and I hope this conversation about patience and the power of slowing down has inspired you as much as it is inspiring me. Remember, life is not a race, it's a journey. And sometimes the best things come to us when we are willing to wait, work on ourselves, and trust the process. If you're ready to dive deeper into this topic, I've got more resources for you guys. Head over to my website, that is truthtrustandtrajectory.com. Find additional resources and tools and exercises that will help you practice patience, align with the law of attraction, and create the life you truly deserve. Whether it's journaling prompts, guided meditations, or my personal story in more detail, you'll find everything you need to start your journey towards a more fulfilling life. Before you guys go, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you'll never miss out on these conversations. And if this episode resonates with you, I would love to hear from you guys. Drop a comment below and let me know what are one of your life, what is one area of your life where you're going to practice patience moving forward. Also, I want to let you guys know that my website is also having a sale on the coaching and tarot reading bundles for the month of February and March. So guys, make sure you head over to truthtrustandtrajectory.com so you guys can book your session today. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, the best is yet to come. I will see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.